All right, good morning, everyone. Today we're going to finish up with what I was talking about in terms of the beginning of musculoskeletal stuff. I'm going to show you the video of slings, splints, and binders. I'm going to demo slings, splints, and binders for you, and then you're going to work with a partner to go ahead and test out slings, splints, and binders today. Tomorrow when we come in, we will work predominantly on our first aid fair project. So I will meet with each group of you and your partner. We'll talk about what you've accomplished and where you need to be going next. When we come back from the Thanksgiving break, we really need to start putting some emphasis on getting this in full motion. We have about 2 months or so, but I don't want to wait till the last minute. One of the things I'm going to tell you tomorrow is, by the time you come back from Thanksgiving break, I'd like to see you come back with your trifold so we can start putting that piece of the puzzle together. You can pick a trifold up anywhere. You can go to Michael's, you can go to Target, you can go to Walmart. They're about $4 for the large one. So I'd like to see you guys go ahead and get that over Thanksgiving, bring it in, and we'll get things moving forward accordingly. So I'll talk more about that tomorrow. Just your gentle reminder again that tomorrow current event is due for blue and yellow. If you don't know if you're blue or yellow, I would say go ahead and check that board over there. And if you don't think it had an impact on your current grade, because we only have like 4 homeworks total, it does have an impact. So make sure you take care of that. Yesterday I talked about burns and the different types of burns. The day before we talked about avulsions and lacerations and different types of cuts. Today I'm just going to go over with you guys the Rice formula. So just take a few minutes before I show you the video on slings, splints, and binders. But the Rice formula is what's used if somebody gets a strain, a sprain, a dislocation. It can even be thrown on a break. The Rice formula is used to take away swelling and to alleviate pain as much as possible. So the Rice formula is rest, immobilize, cold, and elevate. So somebody twists an ankle and they're writhing in pain. We're putting the ankle up in the air, so we're elevating it. We're going to keep it still. We're immobilizing it. We're not going to let them move around, so they're going to get the rest sitting right there, and then we're going to get some kind of ice pack or some ice and throw on it. And what that does is, number one, by having it elevated, it doesn't allow the blood to rush to that area. Because we've broken some blood vessels, it's going to turn black and blue most likely, and it's going to swell up. So we're going to hopefully keep the blood from rushing to that area, and then the cold is going to slow that blood flow down there and take some of the sting away from it. So you can put it 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. It's entirely up to the person. Some people can't tolerate it, so it's 10 and 10. Okay? But that's really, really important when you get a strain, a sprain, a dislocation, a break, anything like that, just to try and take away some of that initial pain that you're dealing with. Any questions about that from you guys? Go ahead, Logan.
I thought they taught us that C was compressed on the Rice formula.
Okay, so yeah, this is the American Red Cross's formula. This is the one that they have us use. So yeah, rest, ice, compress, and elevate. That's the one I always knew going into teaching this, and then 7 years ago I had to change my school of thought because this is what they wanted me to teach. But you're right, that might be what they're teaching you there. Any questions? Anything at all from you guys? Anything about yesterday? I know we ran through some of the musculoskeletal stuff pretty quickly, but I want to make sure that we're where we need to be. Okay, so let me go ahead and take us to the video clip. Please make sure you're paying attention to this.
Splinting should only be used if you need to move or transport the person to seek medical attention and and if it does not cause more pain. Two things to remember when working with splints. Apply splints to immobilize the areas above and below the injury. Do not try to straighten the body part. Instead, splint the body part in the position found. There are multiple types of splints, including anatomic, soft, sling and binder, and rigid. Anatomic splints immobilize an injured body part using an uninjured neighboring body part. Support the area above and below the site of the injury. Check beyond the injured area for feeling, warmth, and color. If the person is wearing a shoe, do not remove it. Place folded triangular bandages above and below the injured area. Move the uninjured body part next to the injured body part. Tie the bandage securely. Do not tie the ends directly over the injured area. Recheck beyond the injured area for feeling, warmth, and color to make sure the splint is not too tight. If the person loses feeling or her skin turns pale, cold, or blue, loosen the splint. Soft splints, such as folded blankets, towels, or pillows, work well to immobilize injured ankles and forearms. Support the area above and below the site of the injury. Check beyond the injured area for feeling, warmth, and color. Place folded triangular bandages above and below the injured area. Gently wrap a soft blanket or folded towel around the injured body part. Tie triangular bandages gently with knots. Tie the bandage securely. Do not tie the ends directly over the injured area. Recheck beyond the injured area for feeling, warmth, and color to make sure the splint is not too tight. A sling and binder can be used to immobilize injured arms and shoulders. Support the arm above and below the site of the injury. Check beyond the injured area for feeling, warmth, and color. Thread one end of a triangular bandage under the injured arm and over the uninjured shoulder to form a sling. Tie the ends of the sling together at the side of the person's neck. Pad the knot for comfort. Bind the injured body part to the chest with a folded triangular bandage to keep the injured area stable. Recheck beyond the injured area for feeling, warmth, and color. If the binder is too tight, loosen it. Rigid splints, such as padded boards, folded magazines, or padded metal strips that do not have any sharp edges, can be used to immobilize injured areas. Support the arm above and below the site of the injury. Check beyond the injured area for feeling, warmth, and color. Place the rigid splint under the injured area. Immobilize the elbow as well as the forearm. Place a roller bandage in the person's hand to keep it in a natural resting position. Tie folded triangular bandages above and below the injured area. Recheck beyond the injured area for feeling, warmth, and color. If it's a forearm injury, bind the arm to the chest using folded triangular bandages or apply a sling.
Okay. So what I'm going to do with you guys now is I'm going to do hands-on demo because you're going to combine 2 tests in one.